Edgar, at the opening plenary this week, you had a call to action to the industry. Tell us about some of the main elements of that.
Yeah, the call to action that we have called out last year is actually a 5-pillar plan. And I won't note them all 5 because it's really too dull, but in the most important thing is that they're all 5, they're interconnected. Which in first instance wouldn't look like that. So it's like about customer transparency, it's technology neutrality, it's creating a business-friendly environment, just to name 3 of them. But in the end, they're all interconnected. For me, the most important thing is that it all starts with, like I also mentioned in the opening session, is that it all starts with competition. So we believe that competition is driving the investment in fiber to the home infrastructure. And it also creates innovation. And innovation by default is also going to create the growth for Europe. So just to take a small highlight, there's a big debate going on right now on the digital divide, and mainly in the rural areas where there's a lack of fiber and broadband penetration. We are quite passionate about it because of the digital divide. We believe that if you build a network, you should build it once, and that's definitely true in the rural areas. It needs to be future-proof. And I think one of the highlights out of my opening speech was actually the point that the individual ROI of a network, especially in rural, sometimes is not. You need to look at the bigger picture of the social benefit of the network, and especially in these rural areas when youngsters are moving out and moving into city areas, that can be halted and even bring back the businesses to these rural areas because of broadband. So that will create economic growth for the region, rejuvenate that region again. And that's why we're so passionate about also the rural broadband. And to really connect it also, this is where we believe that the European funding or the Juncker plan, investment plan, should really focus themselves on to make sure that the investment is going to be in the areas where the social benefits exceeds the local individual ROI. But it's just one small example of the 5 pillars because it incorporates everything that we have the Fiber to the Home Council are doing. But it's a good call for action, and it's actually trying to make sure that everybody, not only we as the Fiber to the Home Council with our members, with the industry members, but also the operators, the legislators, the policymakers, to understand we're all in this together. So it's not a competition between one to the other. Competition is needed, but in the end we need to make sure that we believe and that we need to go for the only future-proof solution, which is fiber.
And of course it came just before the latest figures were announced, which show some very encouraging growth right across Europe.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm quite enthusiastic about the numbers that were presented. We all should be aware that Europe is not one country. It's 28 countries. We'll even look at the 39 countries. Right now we have 3 new entrants, big economies. I'm quite proud to announce that the country of last year's conference, Warsaw, was actually Poland was coming in, and Croatia, and finally also Germany made the 1% threshold. So no, I'm a positive person, so I will always look at the positive side, but it's only 1%. So there's still a lot to do, especially in big economies. But in general, I think when you look at the list now, the list is now 29 countries that are meeting the 1% threshold. So it's a quite long list already. But I think the good thing when you really look at the total scale is that the general trend is just growing. So it's year-on-year growth is mainly in homes passed, but also in subscription is really picking up. And we have a couple of countries where the take-up is above 50%, so 65% and even more than that. And that's really encouraging. So people want fiber. When they get access to fiber, they even take a subscription. But again, it's not one country. So one area is a little bit more growing. The other one is plateauing because they already reached 100%, like Lithuania and these areas. They already have full fiber access. And Western European countries are a little bit in a different dynamic. But also there you see Spain and France really picking up. So no, quite enthusiastic about the numbers that we presented yesterday. Yeah.
I mean, the growth, the vibrancy seems reflected here at the conference where there's been an enormous attendance. And in fact, we even had the Prime Minister come to the opening day.
Yes, absolutely. So the reflection was actually seen also in the numbers. We measure obviously the attendance that are coming here, and we have 20% more attendance than last year, even more than the year before in Stockholm. So the growth is coming back, and to me, it's obviously the world's largest fiber to the home conference, and people tend to come here from globally, from the whole world. But I think, you know, it's a good conference, but in the end it also helps that the vibrance is coming into the industry. So you can really reflect that back into the attendance. But it's good to see all these people walking around and enjoying themselves, doing networking, talking about this bright future that we're talking about and that we're trying to create. So yeah, I'm really, really pleased about that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for talking to us.